The Curse of Tutankhamun's Tomb, Egypt's most famous mystery. In November 1922, one of the greatest archaeological discoveries in history was made deep in the sands of Egypt. A British archaeologist named Howard Carter uncovered the nearly untouched tomb of the ancient Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun, better known as King Tut. What followed would captivate the world and give rise to one of history's most famous legends, the Curse of the Pharaoh. For years, Howard Carter had searched the Valley of the Kings, convinced that the tomb of Tutankhamun remained hidden beneath the desert sands. Many experts believed all the royal tombs had already been discovered, but Carter refused to give up. Then, on November 4, 1922, his team uncovered a stone staircase buried beneath the sand. Excitement spread quickly. The staircase led to a sealed doorway covered with ancient royal markings. Carter immediately informed his financial supporter, George Herbert, 5th Earl of Carnarvon, commonly known as Lord Carnarvon. A few weeks later, Carnarvon arrived in Egypt. Together, they carefully opened the entrance. As Carter peered through a small hole in the doorway, Carnarvon famously asked, "Can you see anything?" Carter replied, "Yes, wonderful things." Inside lay one of the most extraordinary treasures ever discovered. The tomb was filled with golden statues, jewelry, ceremonial weapons, chariots, furniture, and priceless artifacts. Unlike many royal tombs that had been looted centuries earlier, Tutankhamun's burial chamber remained largely intact. News of the discovery spread around the world. Newspapers called it the archaeological find of the century. Thousands became fascinated by ancient Egypt. But soon, strange rumors began to emerge. Several months after the tomb was opened, Lord Carnarvon suddenly became ill. According to reports, he had been bitten by a mosquito and later cut the bite while shaving. The wound became infected, leading to severe illness. On April 5, 1923, Carnarvon died in Cairo. Almost immediately, newspapers began linking his death to the opening of the tomb. Stories appeared claiming that an ancient curse protected the pharaoh's resting place. Some reports even suggested a warning had been found near the tomb entrance threatening death to anyone who disturbed the king's sleep. The public was fascinated. Soon, additional deaths connected to the excavation were reported. Journalists eagerly collected every unusual event and presented them as evidence of a supernatural curse. One story claimed that at the exact moment of Carnarvon's death, the lights in Cairo mysteriously went out. Another reported that Carnarvon's dog in England suddenly howled and died at the same time. Whether these stories were true or exaggerated, they fueled the growing legend. As years passed, more deaths among people loosely connected to the discovery were added to the curse narrative. Every accident, illness, or unexpected death seemed to strengthen public belief that Tutankhamun was taking revenge from beyond the grave. However, many researchers remained skeptical. When historians examined the evidence, they found significant problems with the curse theory. Most importantly, many people directly involved in opening the tomb lived long lives. Howard Carter himself, the man who spent the most time inside the tomb, survived for another 17 years after the discovery. He died in 1939 at the age of 64 from natural causes. Dozens of archaeologists, workers, photographers, and officials who entered the tomb also lived for many years. Scientists proposed more practical explanations for the reported illnesses. Some suggested that ancient tombs could contain bacteria, mold spores, or toxic substances that might affect people entering enclosed spaces after thousands of years. Others argued that coincidence and sensational newspaper reporting were largely responsible for the legend. At the time, the world was fascinated by ancient Egypt. Newspapers competed for readers by publishing dramatic stories about curses, hidden secrets, and supernatural revenge. The legend became even more popular than the actual archaeology. Today, most historians agree that there is no convincing evidence that a supernatural curse existed. Yet the story continues to capture imaginations around the world. The mystery of Tutankhamun's tomb combines real history with legend, science with superstition, and fact with folklore. More than 100 years after its discovery, the golden treasures of King Tut remain among the most famous artifacts ever found, while the tale of the pharaoh's curse continues to inspire books, films, documentaries, and endless speculation. Whether the curse was real